Brain box.
Please don't order food that you don't know how big the serving is, Mom. This happened when I didn't exist and my mom and dad were still dating. Please do note that my whole family is Filipino. Also note that my dad did this intentionally. He told me that he brought my mom to TGI Fridays because he wanted to test if she could finish her order. My mom and my dad decided to eat at TGI Fridays for their food bonding. My mom is a really big eater. She can eat a frick ton of pizza and one plate of pasta and still not get full. Back to the story. They went over to the restaurant and sat down. The waiter went to their spot and was asked for their order. I don't specifically remember my mom's order. Let's just say it was alert. My dad was shocked at this response, mostly because the American serving is a big difference compared to the servings here in the Philippines. Of course my dad had to order something, so he just ordered a burger. That's it. My mom was a little surprised that he just ordered one thing and she didn't know how big the servings were. When the waiter took their order and left, my mom said something along the lines of, "Why did you order so little?" Little did she know that her order is one big juicy plate of r/malicious compliance scattered everywhere. When the waiter served their food, mom was slowly regretting the fact that she ordered a shit ton of food. Every plate that was being set on the table had 1 gallon of fuck I messed up bad drip drop in my mom's brain. She looked at my dad and said in pure regret and pain, knowing that she was going to finish it, "So this is why you only ordered a burger." She ended up finishing it with my dad's help, but she really had to finish it 90% by herself. Now she gave birth to 3 hungry children, including me. If I was there I would have eaten mallet. Heavily topped pizza with everything taken off? Sure thing. So I used to work for a pizza place and we had a lot of horrible customers, but sometimes, very rarely, we would get the last laugh. We had an online ordering system or people could call over the phone. I didn't take the call, but we had a customer who was very rude to the girl who took their order over the phone. They complained that the prices were too expensive and that they'd look online because our customer service is useless. Later we see that they've ordered on our online system and they've ordered our pizza with the most amount of toppings on it. The all-in-one pizza with about 12 or so different toppings. This pizza costs around £20 or so. This order was different however, as they'd taken everything off except pepperoni that they'd added. Pepperoni isn't on this pizza usually. This was obviously an attempt to reduce the price of the pizza by taking everything off and adding what they wanted onto it. The malicious compliance came in when the order came through. When it came through, we make the pizza with just the pepperoni as they'd requested. Since the pizza has so many toppings, we top them with each item lightly so it doesn't become a mountain of ingredients. My manager stopped me as I was placing the pepperoni and said, "Less than that. It's all in one, remember." So by the time the pizza came out, it was a large pizza with only one piece of pepperoni per slice. Just before the driver left, the manager made sure that the pizza was correctly priced as a all-in-one and not a single pepperoni pizza. Usually in this situation we'd just change how the order went through the system to save the customer some money. Not today. The rude customer ended up paying for about £5 more than they would have if we'd edited their order, but we followed the rules and they paid full price. The customer is always right. Teaching my lazy coworker a lesson. So where I work, we've had a lot of people come and go before their 90-day probation is up since last summer, and I remember one guy who was despicably lazy. He had this awful habit of shirking his duties and giving them to someone else. So the manager had asked him to do some sweeping along the front and the guy passed it off to me because he was swamped at the moment. As it turned out, he was not swamped, and I noticed he just passed it off to me because he couldn't be bothered to stop talking to his coworkers, so I did the job. However, I called management to request an in-person meetup and talk about this, and holy cow were me and the manager shocked. Turns out when the manager checked security feed, my coworker was in fact just talking to others and was actually checking out his Twitter feed while on the job. This of course landed him in some hot water, and he was let off with a warning and had to put his phone away in his locker as a result. He quit a few days after because I was apparently invading his privacy by reporting this. You want to extort money from my business? You are being an AS****** landlord? I will play by the rules, no worry. Okay, so first of all, I'm not an English native speaker, so please excuse my errors. This happened quite some time ago. I was sent to Spain to a very small company to try and save it. It was during the financial crisis, so basically I tried first to spend less money, negotiating everything I could. First time I met the landlord, I saw this very old guy, shaking with all his bones, dressed like he couldn't afford clothes from the 21st century. But after the typical chit chat, I tell him I'm planning on moving out because the rent was way too high. It was easily 30% above market. He then proceeds to show me one of his buildings he had an offer on that he just refused, 17 mr, and basically told me to f.ck off and that he would agree on not raising the rent in the coming 12 months. That was when I started looking for something more decent and better than the beaten offices we had, and I found quite easily. Here come the malicious compliance. When you exit offices, the landlord, especially where we had those offices, tries to fix everything with the deposit you put at the start of the lease. So knowing the piece of shit of a landlord I had, I talked to a lawyer I had in my contacts and explained him the situation. He then came up with an idea. The day comes when we have to leave the office. Our landlord, as smart as he is, comes along his lawyer to make sure we will follow the law. But what he didn't know was we also had our lawyer on site, one contractor to fix any minor problem on the spot, and a fucking notary. So we could redact the document stating everything without possibility to discuss later. He was furious. We could fix everything. The only thing we had to replace was an app which never worked, so we ordered the worst possible one for €300 and got 100% of the deposit. Icing on the cake or cherry on top, pick one. The guy maintaining the building told us it took him more than a year to find someone else, and apparently at a way lower price. Edit some English fix. Edit 2. Okay, I will curse everything but the